Okay, so first question for you would be, when did you first learn about drum horses and what drew you to them?
Yeah, I first learned about drum horses at the Oregon State Fair. We were there showing the Gypsy Banners, and I was watching and just fell in love with the way they were going, the potential they had to carry me as a rider in different venues. I love the Gypsy Banners, but the reality of me and going around and jumping a course or doing dressage tests or even a trail ride is uncomfortable. And so I really enjoyed um, that aspect of the drum horse.
Perfect. Okay. The next question is, how long have you owned drum horses? And if you want to include in that, just kind of tell us a little bit about yourself and about your farm.
Yeah, I actually have not necessarily owned a drum horse for very long. I believe we bought our first about 3 years ago, but have quickly acquired several more. And we, I have had one drum foal who I sold in utero, and I've also this year bred a Clydesdale mare to create kind of my ideal drum, and that I'm super excited about, and have recently acquired a stallion who's a foundation drum that I'm excited to campaign and hopefully have other members utilize to further develop the drum breed.
Perfect. Okay. Next question. So how long then have you been a member of the IDHA?
I'm not quite sure because I thought I was a member and then I wasn't getting the drum beats, and then reached out and kind of figured out that my membership wasn't current. So I quickly fixed that. But that's kind of what led me to wanting to run for this position, as well as some of the goals that I have and some of the things I want to contribute as a board member.
Perfect. I think it might be a question later on, but while you're on that topic, do you have any goals or what, these things that you're talking about that you had in mind for wanting to be a board member? You care to elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, I definitely, so kind of piggybacking to to one of the previous questions about owning a drum horse. I might not have owned a drum horse for very long, but I've been very, very active in the equine community since I was a child. And I was fortunate to have the mom I had that really got me involved at a high level in the hunter jumper world. And so I was able to be a part of a very successful organization called the Oregon Hunter Jumper Association. And it was a very active community that was providing scholarships to kids, creating educational opportunities for members, having year-end get-togethers. And so that kind of set in my head, like there's so many benefits that being a member of a community with a like interest and passion can have. And some of the ideas that I have are creating a safe place where there's a sense of community and belonging that fosters supportive relationships. And I realize IDHA, is a worldwide organization, but I think with technology, we can do a lot of virtual member-only activities. I don't know, obviously, running it past people, but things like Ponies and Pinot, like doing a wine tasting and informal conversation about our animals, what our own goals are, or chocolate tasting, seminars to work on education. What are judges looking for? How is judging different for the drum horses versus quarter horses versus paint horses, versus a Clydesdale judge? What are people looking for? Some Q&As, where members can invite other members to learn more about the drum horse calculator and breeding, and even things around confirmation, like how to find the ideal candidate, and doing them in a way where you log in and it's interactive, and just creating some experiences for members is kind of the number one thing that I think could really help the drum horses develop, and just enjoy our drums more.
That sounds pretty great. Thank you for all that.
Yeah.
Okay. So what other, I know you've talked a little bit about past experiences and growing up with horses. So what specific experience do you have that you think would be helpful to the IDHA? Showing, competitions, training, judging, any kind of, however you've been involved, that you think would be a benefit?
Yeah, I think it's actually, I think I can cover a lot of those. Not that I'm an expert or anything like that. I'm a lifelong learner and committed to that. But I think that education and creating a fun educational experience can help get information out. And I think that I'm an out of the box thinker that is creative in problem solving or like meeting a need. So if the need is to educate people on, different avenues that are aligned with the IDHA goal, then what are some experiences that we can create that are going to help meet that goal? I know that probably is not exactly the answer you're looking for. I have a feeling, I feel like I can run various roles, and I'm open to listening to where the board's at right now, and helping collaborate with whatever goals are now and long term.
Okay. Next question. What type of business, what business type of experience and qualifications do you have that would be helpful? Like bookkeeping, or any kind of like computer skills, or accounting, filing management, anything, I guess kind of more secretarial lines, like that kind of stuff?
Yeah. So a little bit about like my experience. I'm a special education teacher for the public schools here in Vancouver, Washington. I have 2 master's degrees, with my most recent master's degree being in leadership and administration. So with that comes, the ability to navigate online databases, and I've created my own broodmare tracking, files on Google Sheets. So I run a very small scale boarding facility, as well as teach some beginner lessons, and have taught on a large scale previously. So I feel like I can navigate what I need to. I was very active in the virtual shows when COVID had everything shut down. I was getting clients involved in that, and using that to kind of set some goals for myself and students that I was helping, and just kind of navigating YouTube and different systems. Also, being that I was a public school teacher during COVID shutdown, and having to learn to go virtual very quickly with a very high need population that didn't necessarily have the ability to access education like a neurotypical student, I had to be creative with different systems. And so that kind of got me savvy with some different ideas, making websites and stuff like that. By no means do I think that that's my strength, but I do definitely feel like I'm proficient enough to take care of business.
Okay, sounds good. You kind of answered our next question too, so I will skip that. Um, how much time each week or month do you think that you would have available to dedicate towards IDHA projects?
Yeah, I think it depends on what the time commitment looks like. I think that my days are pretty busy, but I can make time um, uh, for projects, especially if it's flexible. Typically block my Sundays out and Saturday afternoons. And as long as I have the ability to say I need to do 3 hours this week for this project and arrange my life around knowing that I need to do that, then I absolutely can do that. Um, I think it also kind of depends on what the need is and what my role and responsibility that I've agreed to at that time.
Right. Yeah, we're usually pretty flexible on timing for stuff, Most of our work is done behind the scenes on our own time. So yeah, if you're flexible to do all of it on, a Sunday morning versus, yeah, that should be
And
just
who
fine.
needs sleep anyways, right?
Exactly. Exactly. Okay, perfect. Um, you also answered the next question already. So, okay, what board positions do you think that you would be interested in filling, sorry, and why do you feel that you would be good for these positions?
Honestly, um, I think that I can fulfill various roles. And so I think that knowing what other people's strengths on the board now and whoever's elected get, I feel like I I can kind of be plugged into various different roles. Um, I think that a lot of my background comes from the horse show world, and so and that it is definitely familiar and what I know and I do. But I'm definitely open to other roles.
Okay. Are there any positions that you don't think would be a good fit necessarily?
I don't think so. I think I could do any of them. Or, and especially the fact that there's a board and it's supportive where I can ask questions, and if it's something new, you know, collaborate with somebody that's done it before and knows how to get me caught up to speed on something. I feel like once I'm shown what needs to be done, if it's not self-explanatory, then I'd be able to roll with it.
Okay. Flexible. Sounds good.
Yeah.
We like that. Um, so with that being said, I, I think you pretty much answered this, but I'll go ahead and ask it anyway. So then, are you willing to fill a position or work on a project that may not necessarily be something you prefer, but if it's just somewhere we need help, would you be willing to still contribute to that?
Absolutely. I think that if I was on the board, my job would be to support the mission and vision of the IDHA organization, um, and so whatever that work entails is what needs to be done. And there's always things that aren't, super thrilling or engaging that just have to get done. And so I think that that's absolutely reasonable.
Okay, perfect. Um, okay, so many of the board positions benefit from committees working on them. Would you be willing and able to work in multiple committees? And there could be, the possibility of extra committee meetings at those times. Basically, are you Are you good working with other people, or do you prefer working on your own?
No, I think committees is a great way to get stuff done and to have several projects going, which then is going to directly benefit the members and the drum horses. So I think that that's a fantastic way. Um, and, you know, like I said earlier, I am an out of the box thinker that kind of um, finds creative solutions. And I think that that's where I benefit from working on a committee, because I can have a voice and kind of help be part of a collaborative process. Whereas if it's just me doing something, I can only get so much done.
Right. Okay. Okay, next question. So most positions also require that the person responsible coordinates and passes information to other members on a regular basis. Are you able to work one-on-one with other board members to ensure that all information is coordinated fully?
Absolutely. I picture, I mean, yeah, I guess I picture that being email documentation, CCing other members, maybe a Google document that's shared, or a Google Drive. I don't know. I guess it depends what systems are used, but I'm sure, yeah, I have no problem. And I think that communication is key, especially with committees and collaboration. Like, everybody needs to understand where people are at so that they're not redoing something or thinking something's not getting done.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good. So what makes you want to be a board member with all of the added responsibility, and not just a regular member who benefits from the board's work but doesn't necessarily have to do that work?
Yeah. I think the idea of progress is always something that's appealing to me. You know, I historically have liked project horses, and the idea of being a part of something as it makes progress is fulfilling to me. And, you know, being that this is, the drum horses are, you know, a newer breed and whatnot, I think that that is appealing, to be a part of the process to keep it advancing.
Okay. Um, do you have the tools that will enable you to perform your duties? Just some examples are like a computer and decent internet, that kind of thing.
I do, yeah.
Okay, perfect. Um, how would you handle a situation where your vote doesn't necessarily achieve the result that you wanted?
I think that that's part of being part of a team, is that things don't always go your way. But that as long as you're able to see other people's perspectives and be open to hearing other people's perspectives, and that as long as it's headed to the right direction, that there's, you know, sometimes things aren't going to go your way, and being able to step back and see that that's okay, just it's still making progress, or it's still on track.
Okay, sounds good. Last question is, are you aware of any potential problems that would prevent you from completing your term or assigned duties?
I am not. And I hope none come up.
Okay. Okay, so we've given all the other candidates an opportunity to just add any, if you have anything else you want to add, tell the members.
I don't think so. I think that I'm excited for the future. I'm excited for some of the ideas that I have to create more membership benefits, and more sense of community and support through some experiences. And I think that's exciting. And I think even if I am not on the board, I would still love to pursue those type of activities and organize something. So yeah.
Okay, sounds great. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with me, and best of luck.
Awesome.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Bye.